biggest wealth transfer is happening now. Everything you've been taught about money was designed for a world that no longer exists. While the masses are frozen by the fear of inflation and instability, a silent, massive migration of trillions is flowing toward those who understand the new rules of the game. The question isn't whether wealth is moving. It's whether you are positioned in its path or standing in its way. Today, we stop working for money and start mastering the internal mechanics that command it. Chapter 1. The Death of the Industrial Mindset. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Socrates. Listen to the sound of the ground shifting beneath your feet. It is not an earthquake. It is the sound of an entire civilization moving its money, its power, and its future. Right now, a massive wave of wealth is rushing away from the old systems and toward a new breed of thinker. But you cannot catch this wave if you are still anchored to a sinking ship. You've been lied to. You were told that if you traded your time for a steady check, you would be safe. You were told that climbing a ladder built by someone else was the only way to reach the top. That world is dead. The industrial age is gone, yet its ghost still haunts your mind, whispering that you need permission to be rich. The employee archetype is a cage made of invisible bars. It is a mental program designed to make you a cog in a machine that no longer runs. For decades, the deal was simple. Give us your best years, your sharpest hours, and your loyalty, and we will give you a predictable life. But look around. The predictable life has become the most dangerous gamble you can take. Inflation is eating your savings. AI is eating your job. The ladder is leaning against a wall that is currently being demolished. If you are waiting for a boss to tell you it's okay to start building your own empire, you are waiting for a ghost to give you a hand. True safety is not a paycheck. Safety is ownership. Safety is the ability to command your own value without asking for a seat at someone else's table. When you trade an hour for $1, you are losing. You are selling the only asset you can never buy back, your life. Wealthy people do not trade time. They build systems that work while they sleep, while they eat, and while they play with their children. This is the core of the wealth transfer. Money is fleeing the hands of the time traders and flowing into the accounts of the system builders. Think about your brain right now. You have been trained to think in a straight line. Go to school, get a job, save a little, retire. That is linear thinking. It is slow. It is weak. It is a recipe for a life of just enough. To survive this shift, you must burn that map. You need to think in loops and webs. You need to build things that multiply. 1 hour work should produce a result that lasts for 10 years. That is leverage. That is how the new elite are pulling ahead while everyone else is running faster just to stay in the same place. The fear you feel when you think about leaving the old way is not a warning. It is a symptom of your rebirth. Your biology is wired to keep you in the tribe, to keep you doing what everyone else is doing so you don't get eaten by a tiger. But in 2026, the tiger is the tribe itself. If you stay with the crowd, you will be trampled. The old economy is a forest fire, and the safe path is right in the middle of the brush. You have to run toward the clear, open space of sovereignty. Stop looking for a job and start looking for a problem. The bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the check you write for yourself. This is the gritty truth of the transfer. While others are complaining about the economy, the winners are looking at the holes in the market and filling them with steel and fire. They are not waiting for the right time. They know the right time is a myth created by people who are too afraid to move. Your mind is a piece of hardware. Right now, it is running a work-by-die operating system. It's time for a hard reset. You need to look at your bank account not as a score of your worth, but as a reflection of your current belief system. If the numbers are low, it is because your beliefs about what is possible are small. You are playing a tiny game in a massive stadium. You are fighting for crumbs when an entire bakery is being handed out to anyone with the guts to grab a tray. Look at the people who are winning right now. Are they smarter than you? No. Are they more talented? Usually not. They simply stop believing in the lie of security. They realize that the greatest risk is doing nothing. The greatest risk is being reasonable. Every great fortune in history was built by someone who was willing to be unreasonable. They refused to accept the standard wages of their time. They refused to let a company define their value. They decided they were worth more than a cubicle and a 2-week vacation. You must become a hunter of systems. Ask yourself every single morning, what can I build today that will live longer than my effort? If the answer is nothing, you are still an industrial age worker. You are still a slave to the clock. You need to pivot. You need to find the tools, the technology, the media, the assets that allow your voice and your value to reach millions while you are doing something else. That is how you position yourself in front of the wealth transfer. The old world wants you tired. It wants you distracted. It wants you stressed about bills, so you never have the energy to think about freedom. But your spirit knows better. You wouldn't be listening to this if you didn't feel that fire in your gut. That fire is your intuition telling you that the walls are thin. You can break through them with one solid hit of focused action. You don't need $1 million to start. You need $1 million vision and the grit to follow through when it gets cold and lonely. The world doesn't care about your excuses. The market doesn't care about your degree. It only cares about results. It only cares about value. When you stop asking who will hire me and start asking how can I serve, the money starts to hunt you down. It is a law of nature. You cannot hold back the tide, and you cannot stop the flow of wealth toward those who are ready to receive it. This is your wake-up call. The industrial mindset is a coffin. Get out of it before they nail the lid shut. Throw away the idea that someone is coming to save you. No government, no boss, and no luck is going to hand you the life you want. You are the architect. You are the builder. You are the storm. The shift is happening this second. While you are breathing, trillions of dollars are moving across digital borders, through new ideas and into the pockets of the bold. You can either stay on the sidelines, clutching your safe paycheck as it loses its value, or you can step into the arena. You could decide today that your time is too precious to be sold for a pittance. You can decide that you are going to be a part of the transfer, not a victim of it. The transition is painful because it requires you to kill the person you used to be. You have to let the employee version of you die so the sovereign version can breathe. It's hard. It's scary. It's uncertain. But on the other side of that fear is a level of freedom that 99% of people will never know. They will stay in the gray twilight of security, never knowing the sun of true wealth. Don't be one of them. Take your life back. Take your mind back. The doors to the new economy are wide open, but they won't stay that way forever. The wealth is moving. The power is shifting. The clock is ticking. Stand up. Clear your vision. The industrial age is over, and your empire begins now. Rise higher. Chapter 2. The Neuroscience of Abundance. Whatever we plan in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. Earl Nightingale. Close your eyes for a second. Somewhere out there, right now, someone is looking at a pile of wreckage and seeing a foundation. Someone is looking at a market crash and seeing a fire sale. Someone is looking at a digital revolution and seeing a gold mine. They don't have better eyes than you. They have a different brain. Their biology is tuned to a different frequency. Your brain has a filter, a cluster of nerves at the base of your skull called a reticular activating system. It is the gatekeeper. It is the bouncer of your mind. It decides which pieces of the world get into your conscious awareness and which ones get thrown in the trash. If you are struggling to find your footing in this wealth transfer, it is because your bouncer is still looking for trouble, for lack, and for fairness. You are drowning in data. Millions of bits of information hit your senses every second, but you only notice a tiny fraction of it. If you believe the world is falling apart, your brain will work overtime to find every piece of evidence to prove you right. It will highlight the layoffs. It will scream about the rising prices. It will go blind to the new industries being born in the dark. This is why most people stay poor during the biggest shifts in history. They aren't lazy. They are biologically programmed to ignore the exit signs. You cannot seize a future you cannot see. Your brain is a survival machine, not a wealth machine. It wants you to stay in the cave. It wants you to stay with the herd because the herd is safe. But the herd is currently being led off a cliff. To win, you have to rip out the old wiring. You have to force your neurons to fire in new patterns. Think of your mind like a radar system. If you tune it to find crisis, Your screen will be full of red dots. If you tune it to find leverage, the world suddenly looks like a playground of untapped capital. You have to prime the pump. Stop asking why things are so hard. Start asking, where's the money moving? When you ask a better question, you give your brain a new command. You tell your internal bouncer to let the opportunities through the door. This isn't some soft, think happy thoughts, exercise. This is cold, hard neurobiology. When you focus on a specific goal with intense emotion, you literally change the physical structure of your brain. You create new pathways. You make the detection of wealth an automatic reflex. Look at your hands. Feel the blood moving through your veins. You are a biological masterpiece, but you are running outdated software. You are trying to win a 2026 war with a 1950s mindset. The people taking the lead right now have trained themselves to be comfortable with the unknown. They have taught their nervous systems to see chaos as motion, and motion is where the money lives. Wealth never stays still. It is like water. It flows to the lowest point of resistance. If your mind is full of blocks, the wealth will simply flow around you to someone else. How do you break the blocks? You do it through a brutal audit of your daily inputs. Every time you scroll through doom-laden news, you are training your brain to be a victim. Every time you hang out with people who complain about the system, you are strengthening the neural paths of poverty. You are literally building a physical house of lack inside your head. Smash the windows. Tear down the walls. If you want to hold the wealth that is moving right now, you have to build a psychological vault that is big enough to contain it. Most people have a set point for success. It's like a thermostat. If they make too much money or get too much attention, their brain freaks out. It thinks, this isn't who we are. We're the people who just get by. Then they subconsciously sabotage everything to get back to the safe temperature of mediocrity. They lose the client. They forget the meeting. They waste the profit. You have to grab that thermostat and crank it up until it burns. You have to get used to the heat of being powerful. The wealth transfer is a test of your internal pressure. Can you stay calm when the numbers on the screen go red? Can you keep your vision clear when everyone else is panicking? If you can't control your own chemistry, you will always be a slave to someone who can. The winners of this era are the ones who have mastered their own adrenaline. They don't react, they respond. They don't chase, they attract. They have built a mental fortress that the world cannot touch. Think about the last time you saw a massive opportunity, but didn't take it. Why? You probably said you didn't have the money, or it wasn't the right time. That's a lie. The truth is your brain saw the risk and decided your survival was more important than your greatness. It chose the cave over the horizon. To change your life, you have to make greatness a requirement for survival. You have to tell your brain that staying where you are is more dangerous than moving forward. You have to make the status quo feel like a slow death. Steel is forged in the fire. Your new mindset is forged in the moments when you want to quit, but you lean in instead. It is built when you feel the fear, but you execute the plan anyway. Every time you act in the face of uncertainty, you are laying a new brick in your neurological foundation. You are proving to your subconscious that you are a leader, and the subconscious is a loyal servant. Once it believes you are a king, it will start looking for your kingdom. Stop waiting for a sign. You are the sign. The fact that you are even thinking about this means your brain is already trying to upgrade. It is trying to shed the skin of the old world. Let it happen. Don't fight the change. Don't cling to the old identities of struggling or hard-working but broke. Hard work is a lie if it's directed at the wrong target. Intelligence is a waste if it's filtered through a lens of fear. The world is made of light and motion. There is no solid bad economy. There is only a collection of human decisions. If you want a different result, you must become a different decider. You must walk into every room with the absolute conviction that the wealth of the world is looking for a home, and your mind is the most attractive place it could land. This isn't arrogance. It is alignment. It is knowing that you have done the work to prepare the soil, and now you are ready for the harvest. The transfer is happening. Trillions of dollars are changing hands while you read these words. They are moving away from the fearful, the stagnant, and the realistic. They are moving toward the bold, the visionary, and the psychologically prepared. If you want to be on the receiving end, You have to clear the junk out of your head. You have to stand in the path of the storm with your arms wide open. Your mind is either your greatest asset or your heaviest chain. It cannot be both. Today, we cut the chain. Today, we sharpen the asset. You are no longer a victim of your biology. You are the programmer. You are the commander. You are the one who decides what stays and what goes. The gate is open. The bouncer is on your side. Step through the door and claim what is yours. Chapter 3. Decentralization and the New Sovereignty. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. Charles Darwin. Take a breath, feel the air in your lungs, and realize that for the first time in human history, you don't need anyone's permission to be powerful. The walls are melting. The giant, cold towers of stone and glass that used to hold all the secrets and all the gold are cracking from the inside out. We are leaving the age of the institution and screaming into the age of the individual. This is the new sovereignty. It is a world where a single person with a laptop and a vision can outrun a corporation with 10,000 employees. The middleman is dying. The gatekeeper is out of a job. And you, standing right there in your skin, are being handed the keys to the kingdom. For centuries, you were taught to trust the center, trust the big bank, trust the big government, trust the big media. They told you that you were too small to handle the truth of money or the weight of influence. They built a world where you had to go through them to reach the world, but the wires have been cut. We are moving into a decentralized reality where the power sits at the edges, at the fingertips of the creators, the builders, and the bold. This is not just a change in technology. It is a shift in the very marrow of how we live. It is the death of the permission culture. Think about what this means for your blood and your bone. You no longer have to beg for a platform. You don't have to wait for a publisher to say your book is good enough, or for a bank to say your business is worthy of a loan. You can build a global empire from a kitchen table while wearing pajamas. You can reach 1 million people in Tokyo, London, and Lagos before you even finish your morning coffee. The solopreneur is the new world leader. One person, backed by the lightning of digital systems, is now a force of nature. This is the ultimate leveling of the field. Look at the creator economy. It's not about likes or followers. That's a shallow way of seeing a deep ocean. It is about ownership. It is about taking the value you create and keeping it in your own pocket instead of letting a platform bleed you dry. Digital assets, code, content, and community are the new steel and oil. They don't rust. They don't require a factory. They move at the speed of thought. If you own your audience and you own your assets, you are sovereign. You are no longer a subject of the old empire. You are the king of your own digital territory. The old guard hates this. They want you to stay dependent. They want you to believe that you need their stamps of approval. They call the new world risky or unstable. But tell me, what is more risky? Relying on a single company that can delete your income on a Tuesday afternoon, or building a decentralized web of income streams that you own and control? The instability isn't in the new world. It's in the old one that is desperately trying to hold on to power. You must be willing to let go of the handrail. You have to trust your own feet. This shift requires a total gutting of your ego. You have to stop caring about prestige in the old sense. Who cares if you don't have a corner office, if you have a bank account that grows while you sleep? Who cares if you don't have a fancy title, if you have total freedom over your schedule? The new elite don't look like the old elite. They don't wear suits. They don't go to meetings to talk about work. They stay in the flow and do the work. They have traded the illusion of status for the reality of freedom. Your laptop is not a tool. It is a portal. Through that screen, you can access the collective wealth of the planet. You can learn any skill, find any customer, and automate any task. If you aren't using this portal, you are essentially choosing to live in the dark ages. The information is free. The tools are cheap. The only thing that is expensive is your hesitation. Every day you wait to claim your sovereignty is a day you are paying a tax of wasted potential. Let's talk about the grit of it. Being sovereign doesn't mean life gets easy. It means the weight is on you. There is no one to blame when things go wrong. No boss to curse. No HR department to cry to. It is you against the world. And that is exactly where you want to be when the responsibility is yours. The glory is yours. When you own the risk, you own the reward. This is a steel mindset. You forge your own path, and you sharpen your own edge every single day. The wealth transfer is moving toward those who can build trustless systems. Systems where the value is so clear and the delivery is so fast that you don't need a third party to verify it. Whether you are selling digital products, building a subscription community, or using AI to run a service business, you are participating in the new economy. You are becoming a node in a global network of value. This is how you become uncancelable. This is how you become recession-proof. When you are the source of value, the world will always find a way to pay you. Stop thinking locally. You are a citizen of the internet now. Your market isn't your neighborhood or your city. It is the 8 billion souls on this rock. Somewhere out there, thousands of people are praying for the exact solution you have in your head. They are waiting for your voice, your art, or your system. In the old world, you would never have found them. In the decentralized world, you are one click away. The only thing standing between you and them is your own fear of being seen. Break the habit of asking, how do I get a job? And start asking, how do I build a system? A job is a cage with a ceiling. A system is a tree with roots that go deep and branches that reach the sky. The wealth transfer is the process of millions of people realizing that they would rather own the tree than pick the fruit for someone else. You have to be the owner. You have to be the architect. Even if you start small, start today. Build one asset. Capture one lead. Write one line of code. Just get your skin in the game. The wind is blowing at your back. For the first time, the small guy has the same weapons as the big guy. You have the same AI, the same cloud computing, and the same global reach as a billion-dollar company. The only difference is your velocity. You can move faster. You can pivot in an hour. You can experiment without a committee. Your speed is your greatest advantage. Use it. Burn the rule book and write your own. You were born for this moment. You aren't here to just survive the collapse of the old systems. You are here to lead the construction of a new ones. This is your rebirth. You are shedding the heavy, clunky armor of the industrial age and stepping out as a lean, fast, sovereign force. The world is waiting for you to realize how powerful you actually are. The transfer is not a myth. It is a physical reality happening in the fiber optic cables and the satellite signals right above your head. It is happening in the hearts of people who are tired of being told what to do. It is happening in the bank accounts of those who dare to believe that they could be their own bank, their own boss, and their own brand. This is your day to declare independence. No more waiting. No more asking. No more hiding. The center is gone. The power is yours. Rise higher. Chapter 4. Breaking the Poverty Vow. Empty pockets never held anyone back. Only empty heads and empty hearts can do that. Norman Vincent Peale. Look at your life. Look at the edges of your success. The places where you always seem to stop. You hit a certain number in your bank account, and suddenly an emergency happens. You get a promotion, and you find a way to blow the relationship. You start to feel powerful, and then a cold, familiar voice in the back of your head whispers, "Who do you think you are?" That voice is not yours. It is a ghost. It is a vow you made a long time ago, or one that was forced upon you by people who were too afraid to dream. This is a poverty vow. It is a spiritual and psychological contract that says safety is found in being small. And if you don't tear that contract up right now, the greatest wealth transfer in history will pass you by like a ship in the night. Most people are terrified of the very thing they say they want. You crave wealth, but your nervous system is wired to reject it. This is the upper limit problem. Your brain has a thermostat set to struggle. When things get too good, your internal alarm goes off. It feels like vertigo. To stop the dizzy feeling, you self-sabotage. You spend the money. You pick the fight. You hide from the opportunity. You do this because deep down, you believe that being rich makes you bad, or different, or alone. You are more loyal to your family's history of lack than you are to your own future of abundance. Rip the mask off that loyalty. Your ancestors didn't struggle so that you could keep struggling in their honor. They survived so that you could thrive. Carrying their trauma is not a sign of respect. It is a waste of their sacrifice. We are going into your marrow today. We are pulling out the old rusted nails of we can't afford that. And money is the root of evil. Money is not a moral judge. Money is fuel. It is energy. It is a tool that makes you more of what you already are. If you are a person of impact, wealth gives you a bigger hammer to build a better world. Your mind is currently a crime scene of limiting beliefs. Rich people are greedy. I'm not good with numbers. It's selfish to want more. These are not truths. They are infections. They were handed to you by teachers who were broke, parents who were scared, and a society that wants you compliant. A compliant person is easy to control. A sovereign person with a full bank account and a clear head is a threat to the old guard. Which one do you want to be? You have to choose between the comfort of your excuses and the weight of your gold. You cannot have both. Let's talk about the sovereign identity. A sovereign does not ask for permission to exist or to prosper. When a sovereign walks into a room, the atmosphere shifts. This isn't about arrogance. It's about an absolute, bone-deep certainty that you belong at the table. You have to start seeing yourself as a person who handles millions with ease. You have to practice the feeling of having more than enough. If you wait until money arrives to feel wealthy, you will wait forever. The feeling must come first. The internal frequency must match the external prize. Think of your life as a piece of ground. For years, you've been growing weeds of just enough. You've been proud of how much you can endure. Stop it. Enduring is for victims. Prevailing is for masters. You need to clear-cut the forest of your past. Burn the brush. Every time you catch yourself thinking a small thought, kill it. Replace it with a thought that has teeth. Instead of I hope I make it, say, I am the one who commands the outcome. This is a biological war. Your brain's amygdala wants to keep you in the safe zone of poverty because it knows you can survive there. It doesn't know if you can survive being wealthy. You have to train your biology to be calm in the presence of large numbers. You have to stare at the wealth you want until your heart stops racing. You have to make the extraordinary feel ordinary. When $1 million feels like a normal Tuesday, that is when it will stay in your life. Look at the people you spend time with. Are they reinforcing your vow of poverty? Do they sit around talking about how expensive things are and how the world is out to get them? That is a slow-acting poison. You cannot build a castle while hanging out with people who love the ruins. You need to find the ones who speak the language of how and next. You need to be around people whose normal is your impossible. It will be uncomfortable. You will feel like an imposter. Good. That discomfort is the sound of your old identity cracking open. The wealth transfer is moving away from those who hold on to the victim script. The world is done rewarding people for their pain. It is now rewarding people for their vision and their grit. If you keep telling the story of why you can't, the universe will keep agreeing with you. It is a perfect mirror. If you want the mirror to show you a king, you have to stand like a king before the crown is on your head. You have to delete the word spend from your vocabulary and replace it with circulate. When you pay a bill, don't do it with a heavy heart. Do it with the pride of someone who has the power to pay. When you see someone else winning, don't feel envy. Envy is a confession of lack. It is telling your brain, I don't have that and I can't get it. Instead, let their win be your evidence. If they can do it, the path is open. The money is there. Forgive yourself for the times you failed. Forgive the people who told you that you weren't enough. They were wrong. But holding on to that anger is like drinking acid and expecting them to die. Drop the weight. You need to be light if you're going to run. You need to be focused if you're going to lead. The past is a graveyard. Stop trying to live there. The sovereign identity is a choice you make every hour. It is how you carry your shoulders. It is how you look people in the eye. It is a refusal to settle for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. The wealth is already out there. It is sitting in accounts, moving through wires, and waiting for someone with the guts to claim it. But it won't go to a person who is still wearing the rags of a beggar. Go to the mirror. Look at the person looking back at you. That person is the only one who can fire you from your current life. That person is the only one who can hire you for your future. No more vows of lack. No more I'll try. No more maybe one day. Today, we kill the beggar. Today, we crown the sovereign. The wealth transfer is a flood, and you are no longer a person who is afraid of the water. You are the one who knows how to build the dam. You are the one who knows how to turn the current into power. The ceiling is gone. The sky is open. The vow is broken. Rise higher. Chapter 5. The Currency of Attention. If you are not visible, you are not viable. Frank Kern. Listen closely. Right now, there's a war raging all around you. It is not fought with bullets or blades. It is fought with pixels, hooks, and stories. It is the war for the most scarce resource on this planet. It's not gold. It's not Bitcoin. It's not real estate. It is the human gaze. Every second, billions of eyes are jumping from screen to screen, searching for a reason to stop. In this massive wealth transfer, the money follows the eyeballs. If you are invisible, you are bankrupt. If you cannot grab a stranger's focus and hold it like a vice, you will be left behind in the dust of the old world. Attention is the new oil, and those who know how to drill for it are the new kings. The world is screaming at the top of its lungs. Every brand, every politician, and every creator is trying to hack into the brain of the masses. Your brain is being bombarded with more data in one day than your grandfather saw in a lifetime. Because of this, the human mind has developed a shield. We have become experts at ignoring the noise. We filter out the boring, the safe, and the generic. To win, you have to be the one who pierces that shield. You have to be the signal in the static. This isn't about being loud. It's about being unavoidable. It's about building a brand that feels like a physical force. Wealth is no longer hidden in secret vaults. It is generated in public. Look at the people who have built fortunes out of thin air in the last 5 years. They didn't start with massive factories or deep pockets. They started with a voice. They understood that if you can command interest, you can command capital. When you have 100,000 people waiting to hear what you say next, you own a distribution network more powerful than a television station. You are the media. You are the bank. You are the empire. Why are you still hiding? You tell yourself you are waiting until you are ready. You say you don't want to be sleazy or cringe. That is just fear dressed up as manners. While you are being polite and quiet, someone with half your talent and twice your guts is taking your market share. They are building the roots of their future while you are still staring at the ground. You have to get over yourself. Your ego is keeping you broke. The world doesn't care about your shyness. It cares about value. If you have a solution and you don't scream it from the rooftops, you are doing a disservice to the people who need you. Build your equity in the minds of others. Your brand is not a logo or a color scheme. It is the way people feel when they hear your name. It is the promise of a specific result. Every time you show up and speak your truth, you are laying a brick. Every time you share a result or a raw story of failure, you are forging a bond. This bond is more durable than currency. Currencies can be devalued by governments, but a loyal audience is a fortress that cannot be breached. This is the psychology of influence. People don't buy products. They buy identities. They buy into the fire you carry. Your ability to capture interest is a muscle. Most people's muscles are weak because they spend all their time consuming instead of creating. They are attention donors. They give their focus away for free to apps designed to keep them addicted. You must become an attention landlord. You must be the one who owns a space in the minds of others. This requires a brutal shift in your daily habits. Stop being the audience. Start being the show. Think about the hook. In the first 3 seconds of a video or a post, you either win or you die. This is neurological reality. If you don't trigger the brain's curiosity, the thumb scrolls on. You have to learn the art of the grab. Use a bold claim. Show a transformation. Start in the middle of a disaster. Do anything except be boring. Boring is the only sin that the new economy will not forgive. You have to be willing to be polarizing. If everyone likes you, you are doing it wrong. You want a group of people who love you and a group who can't stand you. The middle is where dreams go to rot. Let's talk about the long game. Capturing attention is the start, but holding it is the mastery. You do this through deep value. You give away your best secrets for free. You teach, you inspire, and you lead. When you show the world that you are a fountain of insight, they will naturally want to see what else you have. This creates a vacuum that only your products or services can fill. It is the law of reciprocity in its most digital, high-velocity form. The wealth transfer is moving away from those who pitch and toward those who publish. If you're still cold calling or begging for leads, you are living in the Stone Age. The sovereign creator publishes content that acts as a 24/7 sales force. It works while you sleep. It qualifies your buyers. It builds trust before you even say hello. This is how you scale your soul. You take your unique spark and you multiply it by 1,000,000,000 to the power of the internet. Your mind is a broadcast station. What are you sending out? If you are sending out, "I need money," the world will hear the static of desperation and tune you out. If you send out, "I have the fire you need to stay warm," the world will flock to you. You have to speak with the authority of someone who already knows they are winning. You have to sound like the future. Every single day, you should be asking, "Who knows I exist today who didn't know yesterday?" If that number is 0, you are stagnant. You are a ghost. You need to be seen. You need to be heard. You need to be felt. The technology is already in your pocket. The platforms are free. The only barrier is the wall of, "What will they think of me?" Knock the wall down. The people who will judge you are the people who are too scared to do what you are doing. Their opinions are worth nothing. Their silence is the sound of their own defeat. The transfer is happening. Money is flowing into the hands of those who are brave enough to stand in the light. It is flowing to the storytellers, the teachers, and the disruptors. It is moving toward the people who aren't afraid to be human, messy, and loud. The era of the faceless corporation is ending. People want to buy from people. They want to follow a pulse, not a mission statement. Seize your power. Stop asking for a turn. Take the stage. The world is a hungry, dark place, and it is looking for a light to follow. If you have the guts to be that light, you will never have to worry about money again. You will be the source. You will be the destination. The gaze of the world is shifting. Are you in the way of it? Or are you just part of the background? Rise higher. Chapter 6. High Leverage Skill Acquisition. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Jim Rohn. Burn your diplomas. Throw them into the fire of the new world and watch the paper turn to ash. They are relics of an age that is currently being buried under the weight of real-time results. In the middle of this massive wealth transfer, no one is coming to check your credentials. No one cares what building you sat in for 4 years or whose signature is at the bottom of your certificate. The market only asks one question: what can you do for me right now? If your skills are slow, heavy, and outdated, you're a liability. If you want to ride the lightning of this transfer, you need to acquire skills that act like a lever, tools that allow your small effort to move mountains of capital. Wealth today is built on stackable skills. Most people spend their lives trying to be a specialist in a narrow field that AI will soon do better, faster, and for free. That is a trap. You don't need to be the best at one thing. You need to be dangerous at 3. When you combine the right skills, you become a category of 1. You become a unicorn in a field of donkeys. You have to stop learning for information and start learning for power. Information is everywhere. It's cheap, it's noisy, and it's mostly useless. Power is the ability to use that information to change your bank account. The first pillar of your new foundation is the art of the sale. Call it persuasion, call it influence, or call it storytelling. It doesn't matter. If you cannot convince another human being to move, to buy, or to follow, you are at the mercy of those who can. Sales is the heartbeat of wealth. It is the ability to transfer your conviction into the soul of another person until they see what you see. Every interaction is a negotiation. Every post you write is a pitch. If you are too proud to sell, you are too proud to be rich. You have to master the psychology of desire. You have to learn how to find the pain and offer the cure with the precision of a surgeon. But persuasion alone is just talk. You need the second pillar, technical literacy. I'm not talking about becoming a computer scientist. I'm talking about mastering the systems and the AI that currently run the world. Think of AI as an exoskeleton for your brain. One person using the right systems can do the work of a 50-person marketing agency. If you aren't using these tools to automate your life and multiply your output, you are competing with a spoon against a bulldozer. You need to know how to build a digital machine that works while you sleep. You need to understand how data flows and how to use it to find the shortest path to the money. This is the grit of the new economy. Then there's the third pillar, the one that holds the other two together, emotional intelligence. This is your internal gyroscope. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they cannot handle their own chemistry. They get a no and they crumble. They see a market dip and they panic. They get a little bit of success and they stop working. If you cannot control your impulses, you cannot control your destiny. You need to forge a mind that is made of steel and calm. You need to be able to read a room, understand what people are truly afraid of, and lead them through it. This is a skill that AI can never replace. It is the human edge. Mastering these at 10x speed is not about studying. It's about immersion. It's about getting your hands dirty today. Stop reading about sales and go try to sell something. Stop watching videos about AI and go build a system that solves a problem. Your brain doesn't learn when it's comfortable. It learns when it's under fire. You need to create a feedback loop that is so fast it makes your head spin. Fail, fix, repeat every single hour. This is how you compress 10 years of growth into 6 months. This is how you seize your power while everyone else is still reading the instructions. Look at your current skill set. Is it a lever or a weight? If you are doing work that a machine can do for $10 a month, you are in danger. You are standing in the path of a tidal wave and hoping it doesn't get you wet. You have to move. You have to acquire the high-leverage skills that allow you to capture the value that is currently being transferred. This is the STEEL protocol. You don't wait for a teacher to tell you what's on the test. You decide what you want to own, and you hunt down the skills required to take it. Think about the bridge you are building. On one side is your current life, limited, traded for time, and uncertain. On the other side is sovereignty. The only way across is the skills you stack. If you only have one skill, your bridge is a tightrope. One wind blows and you're gone. But if you stack sales, systems, and emotional mastery, you are building a bridge made of reinforced concrete and iron. You can drive a tank across that bridge. You can lead an army across it. The world is moving too fast for traditional learning. By the time a textbook is printed, it's a history book. You have to be a student of the now. You have to look at what is working in the trenches this morning and master by tonight. This requires a level of focus that most people don't have. They are too busy being distracted by the clutter of the world. You must be different. You must be obsessed. You must treat your skill acquisition like a war for your very survival. Because that is exactly what it is. Every hour you spend scrolling through junk is an hour you could have spent mastering a tool that pays you for life. That is a heavy price to pay for a little dopamine. Wake up. The wealth transfer isn't just about money. It's about the transfer of capability. The people who know how are taking everything from the people who used to know. Don't be a used-to-know person. Be the one who is constantly reinventing their own edge. Your mind is a weapon, but a weapon is useless if it's blunt. Sharpen it every day. Learn how the new algorithms work. Learn how the new money moves. Learn how to speak to the deep, lizard brain needs of your customers. When you stack these high-leverage skills, you don't have to look for opportunities. You become a magnet for them. The wealth will find you because you are the only one capable of handling it. The forge is hot. The hammer is in your hand. What are you going to shape? Are you going to keep polishing your old, dull life? Or are you going to forge a new, sharp identity that can cut through any obstacle? The choice is yours, but the clock is ticking. The money is moving. The skills are waiting. Go out there and take them. Don't ask for a seat. Build your own chair. Build your own table. Build your own world. The transfer is waiting for the masters. Become one. Rise higher. Chapter 7. Emotional Intelligence in Volatile Markets. The man who has confidence in himself gains the confidence of others. Hasidic proverb. Listen to the rhythm of your own heart. Is it steady? Or does it race every time you see a headline about a market crash, a bank failure, or a political storm? Most people are not destroyed by the economy. They are destroyed by their own adrenaline. They are victims of their own chemistry. When the world catches fire, they don't look for an exit. They run deeper into flames because they can't handle the heat of their own fear. Wealth is won or lost in the split second between an event and your reaction to it. If you want to own the future, you must first own the space inside your own skull. Chaos is not your enemy. Chaos is simply a reshuffling of cards. For the person with a steady hand, a volatile market is a gold mine. For the person with a shaky heart, it is a graveyard. You must understand that the massive wealth transfer happening right now is a psychological filtering system. It is stripping assets away from the panicked and handing them to the prepared. To be prepared, you need a mental fortress, a place in your mind where the noise of the world cannot reach, where logic rules and emotion serves. Think about your brain's wiring. When you feel a threat, your lizard brain takes over. It shuts down your creative thinking. It kills your ability to see the long game. It demands that you do something, anything, to stop the discomfort. This is why people sell their stocks at the bottom. This is why they quit their businesses when things get too hard. They aren't making a financial decision. They are trying to stop a panic attack. You have to train your nervous system to stay offline when the world is screaming. You have to learn to sit in the fire without flinching. Building a mental fortress starts with a brutal truth. You cannot control the storm, but you can control the ship. Stop checking the news every 10 minutes. Stop letting every tweet or notification dictate your mood. When you react to every tiny vibration in the market, you are giving away your sovereignty. You are letting the world drive your car. Take the wheel back. Practice the art of the long look. When something happens, wait, breathe, look at the data, not the drama. Ask yourself, will this matter in 10 years? If the answer is no, it doesn't deserve 1 second of your anxiety. Most people equate wealthy with lucky or smart. I tell you, wealth is a result of emotional endurance. It is the ability to stay rational when everyone else is acting like a herd of frightened animals. The greatest fortunes in history were forged during the blackest days. While the masses were crying and hiding their money under mattresses, the masters were calmly buying up the world for pennies. They could do this because they had disconnected their sense of safety from the external world and anchored it inside their own competence. Look at your personal life. Does a fight with your partner ruin your workday? Does a mean comment online make you want to hide? If your emotional skin is that thin, you will never be able to hold on to massive wealth. The weight of millions of dollars will crush you. Money is a magnifying glass. It takes your existing cracks and pulls them apart until you shatter. You have to fill those cracks with steel today. You have to become the person who is the same in the storm as they are in the sun. Let's get gritty. The mental fortress technique is about building a separation between who you are and what you have. If you think you are your bank account, you will die 1,000 deaths when the balance drops. But if you know you're the creator of the value, you can lose everything tomorrow and stay calm, because you know you can build it back 10 times better. This is the ultimate freedom. It is the realization that the world can take your money, but it cannot take your mind. We live in an age of outrage. Everyone is offended. Everyone is a victim. Everyone is waiting for a savior. This is a soft mind plague. It is the opposite of wealth. To be part of the transfer, you have to be hard-minded. You have to be analytical. When you see people screaming on the news, look for the play. Look for the opportunity they are missing, because they are too busy being emotional. While they argue about the fairness of the system, you should be busy mastering the mechanics of the system. Conviction is a quiet thing. It doesn't need to shout. Your biology wants you to fit in. It wants you to feel what the crowd feels. If the crowd is depressed, your brain will try to make you depressed to keep you safe within the group. You have to fight your own DNA. You have to be the one person in the room who isn't vibrating with the common frequency. This requires a level of stoicism that most find cold. Let them call you cold. It's better to be cold and free than warm and broke. Master your breath. When the market dips or your plan fails, your breath becomes shallow. Your muscles tighten. Your vision narrows. This is the kill switch of your intelligence. Force yourself to breathe deep into your belly. Force your shoulders to drop. You are signaling to your brain that there is no tiger in the room. You are telling your neurons that you are the hunter, not the prey. Once your body is calm, your mind can see the moves. You can see the gaps. You can see the hidden path to the gold. The wealth transfer is a test of character. It is a universe asking, can you handle the power? If you are a slave to your impulses, the answer is no. If you spend your profit as soon as it hits your hand because you need a hit of dopamine, you are not ready for greatness. You are just a temporary custodian of someone else's money. To keep the wealth, you must become a person who can delay gratification. You must be able to stare at a pile of cash and feel nothing but the desire to put it to work. The market is a giant mirror. It reflects a collective fear and greed of millions. To win, you must be the mirror that doesn't crack. You must be the one who looks at the chaos and sees a pattern. This isn't about being a robot. It's about being a master of your humanity. Use your passion to fuel your work, but use your logic to protect your assets. Keep the fire in the engine, not in the steering wheel. Stop waiting for the world to get stable. Stability is a hallucination. The world is a permanent storm. The only safe place is the eye of that storm, that quiet, still point in the center where you make your decisions. Build your fortress there. Surround it with walls of discipline, floors of data, and a roof of absolute faith in your own ability to figure out. The money is moving. It is fleeing the hands of the emotional and the reactive. It is looking for a calm port to land in. Make your mind that port. Be the person who is so grounded that the entire world could go into a recession, and you would still be looking for the next growth sector. The chaos is your invitation. The volatility is your paycheck. The storm is your home. The fortress is built. The gates are locked. Now act. Rise higher. Chapter 8. Automating Freedom. Technology is a useful servant, but a dangerous master. Christian Lauslang. Stop trading your life for chores. Look at your day. I mean, really look at it. And count the hours you spend doing work that a machine could do while you sleep. Most people are drowning in the shallow end of life. They spend their best brain cells answering emails, moving data between spreadsheets, and fixing minor glitches that don't move the needle 1 inch. They are busy, yes, but they are broke. They are slaves to 1,000 tiny tasks that bleed their energy dry before they ever get a chance to build something that lasts. If you want to grab your share of this wealth transfer, you have to stop being the engine and start being the architect. You have to automate the mundane so you can dominate the extraordinary. We are living in a moment where the drudge work of humanity is being handed over to silicon and code. This is the great filter. On one side, you have people who fear that AI will take their jobs. On the other side, you have the sovereigns who are using AI to take back their time. If your job can be mapped out in a simple set of instructions, it is already gone. Accept that. Don't fight to keep a task that a computer can do for pennies. Instead, use that computer to build a wall of automation around your life. This wall is what buys you the silence you need to think. And thinking is where the millions are made. The real wealth in this era is created in what I call your zone of genius. This is the narrow slice of your talent where you are irreplaceable. It's where your unique story, your deep intuition, and your creative fire meet. Everything else is a distraction. If you are a world-class closer, but you spend 3 hours a day formatting invoices, you are stealing from yourself. You are putting a cap on your own net worth. You have to outsource the low-value noise to the machines. Let the bots handle the scheduling. Let the algorithms find the leads. Let the software track the numbers. Your job is to stand at the helm and decide where the ship goes next. Think about the biology of your focus. Every time you switch from a deep, creative task to a shallow, administrative one, your brain pays a switch tax. It takes 20 minutes for your neurons to fully realign with the high-level work. If you check in on small tasks 10 times a day, you never actually reach your peak performance. You are running your brain at 30% capacity and wondering why the big breakthroughs aren't coming. Automation is not just about saving time. It is about protecting your cognitive blood, your attention. It is about keeping your mind in a state of high-velocity flow where you can see patterns that others miss. The wealth transfer is moving toward those who can build systems that don't need them. If your business dies the moment you take a vacation, you don't own a business. You own a high-stress job. You are still a cog, just a more expensive one. To be truly free, you must build a ghost machine. This is a web of automated processes that handles the intake, the processing, and the delivery of value without your physical presence. When you decouple your income from your hours, you break the final chain of the industrial age. You stop selling your life and start selling your vision. Let's get gritty about what this looks like. You start by auditing every single click you make. If you do a task more than twice, it needs a script. If a question is asked more than twice, it needs an automated response. We are moving into a world of no-code power where you don't need to be a programmer to build a digital army. You just need to be a strategist. You need to be the one who connects the dots. Use AI to draft your content. Use bots to handle your customer support. And use smart contracts to handle your payments. Strip away the friction until all that is left is your pure, unadulterated judgment. Most people resist this because they want to feel needed. They find a strange comfort in the chaos of a busy inbox. It makes them feel important. This is a poverty trap. The truly powerful are often the ones with the least to do on their calendar because their systems are doing the work for them. They have mastered the art of being the ghost in the machine. They provide the soul and the strategy, while the silicon provides the sweat. You must kill the part of you that wants to be the hardest worker in the room and replace it with the part that wants to be the smartest owner in the room. Wealth is not about how hard you grind. It is about how much leverage you command. In the old world, leverage was hiring 100 people. In the new world, leverage is a well-built automation sequence. A single person with sharp mind and a stack of AI tools can produce more value than an entire department could 10 years ago. This is why the wealth transfer is so aggressive. The lever has become infinitely long and is available to anyone with the guts to use it. If you aren't building your lever, you are being crushed by someone else's. Imagine your life as a high-performance engine. Right now, it's filled with sand. The sand of minor decisions, repetitive tasks, and digital clutter. Every piece of sand creates heat and wear. Automation is the oil. It flushes out the grit and allows the engine to scream at redline without braking. When your life is oiled with automation, you move with a terrifying speed. You can launch 3 projects in the time it takes your competition to write a plan for one. You become a blur of productivity because you aren't actually doing the work. You are directing it. Take a hard look at your fears. Are you afraid that if you automate everything, you won't know what to do with yourself? That is the real test. Most people use busyness as a shield to avoid the scary work of being great. They hide in the spreadsheets, so they don't have to face the blank page. But the blank page is where the future is written. When you clear the deck, you are forced to confront your true potential. You're forced to ask, if I didn't have to do the small stuff, what could I truly achieve? That question is the birth of your new sovereignty. The wealth transfer is a race to the top of the value chain. At the bottom are the people doing the physical work. Above them are the people doing the basic cognitive work. At the very top are the people who own the systems and provide the creative spark. The bottom is being automated away. The middle is being eaten by AI. The top is the only place left to stand. You must climb. You must use the tools of the new world to catapult yourself into that zone of genius and stay there. Stop being a user of technology and become a commander of it. Don't just watch the machines change the world. Order them to build yours. This is not a future possibility. It is a current requirement. The money is flowing to the nodes of the network that are the most efficient. If you are slow and manual, the wealth will flow around you. If you are fast and automated, the wealth will be sucked into your orbit. The era of the hustle is over. The era of the system is here. You don't need more hours in the day. You need more output per second. You need to become a force that doesn't sleep. You need to build a legacy that can run on its own. The machines are waiting for your orders. The code is ready to be written. The freedom you crave is on the other side of a few well-placed triggers and actions. Set the machine in motion. Leave the drudgery behind. Rise higher. Chapter 9. The Ethics of Greatness. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. Zig Ziglar. Stop thinking about how to take. Start obsessing over how to give. Most people look at this wealth transfer and all they see is a giant pile of gold they want to grab for themselves. They approach the world like a thief in the night, trying to extract every dollar without leaving anything behind. They want the harvest, but they refuse to sweat over the soil. I am telling you right now, that is the shortest path to a hollow bank account and a bitter heart. True wealth is not a trophy you snatch. It is a shadow. It is the natural consequence of the value you pour into the world. If you want to be a giant in this new economy, you have to be the one who solves the problems that make everyone else run for cover. There is a cold, hard law built into the fabric of the universe, the law of reciprocity. You can try to cheat it, you can try to hide from it, but you will never beat it. The world pays you in direct proportion to the weight of the burdens you lift off its shoulders. If you solve a tiny problem for 10 people, you will have a tiny life. If you solve a massive, burning problem for 10 million people, you will have more wealth than you know what to do with. This isn't about being nice. This is about being effective. This is about the gritty, bone-deep ethics of creating more than you consume. Look at the giants of history. They didn't just get lucky. They found a gap in the world, a place where things were broken, slow, or painful, and they filled it with their life's work. They built bridges. They fought diseases. They moved information faster. They made life easier. They created value where there was none, and because they made the world better for everyone else, the world made them rich. The wealth transfer is a migration of capital toward those who are willing to take responsibility for the collective hunger. Your mind needs to shift from what's in it for me to what can I fix? This is a neurological reset. When you focus only on your own gain, your brain enters a state of scarcity. You become tight, stressed, and blind to the opportunities right in front of you. But when you focus on solving a problem for others, your vision opens up. You start to see the cracks in the system. You start to hear the things people are complaining about at dinner tables and in boardroom meetings. Those complaints are the sound of money calling out for a master. Don't be a vulture. A vulture waits for something to die so it can pick at the remains. Many people in business operate like this, looking for the weak, the desperate, and the broken so they can squeeze them for a quick buck. That is not greatness. That is survival of the lowest kind. A winner is a builder. A winner looks at a desert and sees a forest. They don't wait for things to happen. They make things happen by providing a service that is so good, so fast, and so reliable that people will be fools not to pay for it. Integrity is your greatest asset. In a world of digital noise and fake it till you make it influencers, a person of their word is a rare and expensive commodity. If you build your wealth on a foundation of lies and half-truths, your empire will crumble the moment a storm hits. And storms will come. But when you build on the bedrock of value, the storm only washes away the competition. People will find you in the dark because they trust your light. They will bring their gold to you because they know that when they deal with you, they win too. This is the only way to build wealth that survives you. Let's talk about the grit of service. It's easy to talk about value when everything is going well. It's much harder when you are tired, broke, and no one knows your name. But that is where the forge is hottest. That is where you decide if you are a predator or a provider. Will you cut corners to save $1? Or will you go the extra mile to make sure your customer is blown away? Every time you choose the high road, you are hardening your character. You are becoming a person that wealth wants to be around. The wealth transfer is moving away from the exploiters and toward the innovators. The old systems were built on gatekeepers who charge you just to pass through. The new sovereignty is built on creators who build new roads. If you are still trying to be a gatekeeper, your time is short. But if you are a road builder, your future is limitless. Ask yourself, how can I make this 10x cheaper, 10x faster, or 10x more beautiful? That question is the key to the vault. You must have the stomach for the big problems. Most people want the easy life, so they only look for easy answers. They stay in the shallow water where it's safe. But the big wealth is in the deep. It's in the messy, complicated, and scary problems that no one else wants to touch. If you have the guts to stare into the chaos and find an order, if you have the will to stay in the fight until the solution is clear, you will be rewarded with a level of sovereignty that most can only dream of. Stop asking the world for a handout. The world owes you nothing. It didn't ask you to be born, and it doesn't care about your feelings. It only cares about results. This might sound cold, but it is the most liberating truth you will ever hear. It means you are in total control. If you aren't getting the money you want, it's because you aren't providing the value the world demands. Change the value and the money will change itself. It is a mathematical certainty. Wealth without ethics is just a high-speed car without a steering wheel. You might go fast for a while, but the crash is coming. I've seen men and women make millions through deceit, and I've seen them lose it all in a weekend. Worse, I've seen them keep the money but lose their souls. They live in constant fear of being found out. They can't sleep. They can't trust anyone. That is not wealth. That is a prison with gold bars. You want to be able to look yourself in the eye every morning and know that you earned every cent by making someone else's life better. Be the person who leaves every situation better than they found it. Whether the conversation, a contract, or a company, add a premium of excellence to everything you touch. This builds a reputation that acts like a global magnet. You won't have a hunt for the wealth transfer. The transfer will hunt for you. It will find you because you are a safe harbor for capital. You are a place where money grows because it is planted in the soil of truth and service. This is the ultimate secret. The biggest winners are always the biggest givers. Not givers in the sense of charity, though that has its place, but givers in the sense of contribution. They give their best ideas, their best energy, and their best years to solving the world's problems. And in return, the world gives them everything. The fire of your ambition should be matched by the roots of your character. Don't just seek to be rich. Seek to be great. Seek to be the person who, when they walk away, leave a legacy of solved problems and lifted lives. That is the only wealth that counts. That is the only wealth that lasts. The transfer is happening. The scales are being balanced. The world is looking for its new leaders. Not the ones who can scream the loudest, but the ones who can serve the deepest. Will you be one of them? Will you put your shoulder to the wheel and move the world? The work is waiting. The reward is certain. Rise higher. The conclusion: the transfer is not a single event. It is a continuous current. By listening to this, you have already begun the process of decoupling your destiny from the old guard. But knowledge without execution is merely a hallucination. As you step back into the world, remember, the economy doesn't determine your bank account. Your alignment does. The doors are open. The capital is moving. Claim your seat at the table. Your legacy starts now.